Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. This is Naaman with the DC Camp Branch Great Millstone, back for another video. But first and foremost, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who deserve double honors and who rule well. Salutations also go out to the fellow Akim out there on the highways and byways, pushing the truth across four corners of the earth. All right. So here we have, and this is something that we here at Great Millstone have always tried to tell you. All right. But you wouldn't listen to us. So this is a site, goes by Immortal Minds. And of course, this video was done a month ago now, but this is a follow-up of something he did back in 2017, 8 years ago. So it's nothing new, like we've said, but this is something, again, if you want to go the science route, he's going to back up what, again, Great Millstone tried to tell you with the study that was done. But let's go ahead and play this video, because a lot of you women are under the impression that you can do anything a man can do, you're equal, in other words, you fit into this feminist bullshit that our enemy has put out there, and you just, oh man, you ate it up. But yeah, you women, and it's being manifested now in several ways. You're learning the hard way that you've been played. So let's go ahead and roll the video, and what it's going to go into here is how really impressionable you women are, and that's by design. But like I said,
I think a lot of the times what women don't want to talk about is it's like you have these get more bodies. Now one day you want to settle down and try to have a happy housewife life. And it's like, after having all these bodies and having all this memory of these different men going in and out of you, you think you're not going to just be able to just sit down one day and submit to a man and stay loyal to a man after you've had all those different...
Exactly. And it's not only, it's a not only a mental component to it, but it's highly spiritual. And that's what, of course, this devil who beguiled you left out. All right.
Bodies and all those different spirits going in and out of you. And then now everything that you do, every man that you attempt to date, every man that you try to settle down with, if you're even trying to do that, you're now going to judge based upon that lens. Nobody's going to measure up. You can't have multiple men and act as if you're not going to have repercussions. Some theories suggest that anytime a woman has a man, he literally leaves his genetic material in her body. If you think about it, just the anatomy of a woman, right? Anytime a man is entering into her woman, times that by 10, 20, 50. Let's say you're a woman walking around with the genetic material of 50 men in your body. That ain't going to mess up your pH balance. That ain't going to mess up your hormones. That ain't going to mess up your psychology.
There you go.
Like, we act like we can do these behaviors and there's no repercussions, and that's not real life. That's maybe what you see on televisions. That's maybe what we see in these different series. But the reality of how it impacts you, it's not just physical, it's not just emotional, it's spiritual. It impacts you on every single level.
And the truth is, sleeping with a man does change you. That's the truth.
Yeah.
And so women don't want to accept that.
They don't.
You have to understand these things. If you are going to engage in something, you have to understand the results of it. You can't deny it, right? You can't deny that once a man penetrates you, your body will change. Your mind will change.
Yeah. And you sleeping with multiple men. This is
Sure.
the reason why women are mentally ill.
And for those of you that see this for the first time, that are, just now getting into the becoming aware of who you are as far as an Israelite, you're going to find out that these scriptures were on point, as always. That's why it tells you Let me get it real quick. What did Paul say? We can just deal with Paul here. All right. But first, let me get this since it popped up. I don't want to go too long before. All right, because I'm using someone. Well, not this. I don't know where this came from, but I'm using this video here. This is copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research, which is what I'm doing. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right. So, again, let's go and see what Paul had to say about that. All right. Because as it gets down, hopefully I don't jump the gun too much here, but in Romans 7, that's why it tells you. And even going back to what Yahweh Shah said about this being an adulterous generation. Why? Because if you're dealing with any one of these women that's not a virgin, all right, this is what you'd have to deal with. Who is she bound to? If she's got all these bodies, all right, this is what you're dealing with. A Sybil, for those of you that understand the reference there. Now, this is Romans 7. It says released from the law. All right. Let's see. Let's go straight to the point. So then, if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. All right. So, and he's going to touch on that later, but if this guy that she was dealing with is still around, all right, at some point, what you have to understand, you as a man, what you're dealing with, you're competing. Really, it's unfair because you can't, with this other individual. And at some point, if this individual comes around, guess what? Because there's so much invested there on really both parties, but in particular the woman. All right, let's see. That's basically it with this one. Let's see. I should have started at the top. Let's see. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law hath dominion over man as long as he liveth. All right, that was the question. For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth. So, again, going back to that first man that woman had, that is her actual husband. And if she goes gallivanting around, that's another scripture there in the Apocrypha that tells you, again, this is a problem with giving her liberty to gad abroad. But let's finish this. For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband. We just had a story of this woman on her deathbed. It's been not even that long ago. And she made a request of her current husband, all right, if she could be with her previous lover. The audacity. So that lets you know right there is an example of her being what? Still bound to that other man. On her deathbed. Think about that. Now let's get what I had quoted in passing. Let's see, is that 25? Let's see. let's start at 20. I think it's, let's see. Yeah, here it is, 25. It says, give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. And what do you see, especially here, these Western women? They're all over the place. All right? Think about that. And that's how you apply these situations and life to the scriptures, because it's all in there. It's all in there. All right? These, what's that character in in the voodoo, oh crap, with the top hat, god damn it, the zombie lord, I can't think of it, it'll come to me, but that's these pastors and preachers you have in your churches. That because they're set up by the enemy to keep you in slumber. All right, they're not there to tell you the truth, who you are. Just the opposite. Here we go.
At these brothers, let's talk about some brothers. Let's talk about a factor that we don't speak on enough when it comes to modern day relationships. I'm gonna tell you this, brothers.
I just not thought of it. I was thinking of something else. It's been a while since I had even think about stuff like that, but I was thinking of Papa, but it's the other one. Is it Sa or is it? Here it is. That's the one I'm talking about. These damn preachers and shit. All right, he is the Iwa of the dead. I guess I pronounced that right. And that's what they are, because you got the congregation of the dead there. All right. And these, I don't want to get too far into this, but, that's what they are.
Brothers, you'd better be aware of who your woman is bonded to. You'd better be aware of who your woman is bonded to, because she's bonded to somebody. Your woman is bonded to somebody. And what I mean by that, if you've met your woman in today's time, if you've met your woman and you're over the age of 25 maybe, but definitely 30, if you're 30 years old and over and you're just now meeting the person you're in a relationship with, I don't care if she's the sweetest thing on the planet. I don't care if she's cooking your meals, massaging your back, doing whatever, women do for their men. I don't care how good it seems, man. You have to understand that your woman, on a spiritual level, on a chemical level, on the deepest of levels, is still bonded to somebody. Now, I'll say this, like there's a good chance that over time you can be that person, but it's quite rare, to be honest. Because once that initial bond is created, it's almost, and I don't want to go down this road, but it's almost until, as long as that person is breathing on this planet, that bond is still present. Like that, like when we say until death do us part, you got to understand that's not a man-made thing. That's like when that connection is made, it's actually a connection until one of these entities passes on, and that spirit is no longer here on the earth. But I'm not even talking. We're not even having that type of conversation. I'm just saying you got to be aware of who your woman is bonded to. And when I say bonded to, man, let me just say like a lot of times we have these relationship conversations, man, where a lot of people are talking about, traditional relationships, like our grandparents used to move like this. You got to understand, traditional relationships on in that way, they're done. Like when our grandfathers and grandmothers got together, they were 13 and 17. They may have had one or two partners before that, but they got married and they rocked out. You weren't getting with a woman like today, man. A woman that slept with a multitude of men. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand, by the time you get with that woman, she's already bonded with somebody. And if you aren't aware of who I'll say it like this: if you choose to go down a
real quick, because again, the scriptures hold true. This is what Yahweh Shah meant when let me get it here. In this, all right, and this is Matthew 19. All right, let me see. I might go start at the top. It says teaching about divorce, right? Going back to the law, all right, and it says, and it came to pass that when Yahweh Shah had finished these sayings, he departed from Galilee and came into the coast of Judea, beyond Jordan, and great multitudes followed him, and he healed them there. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? You need to know that they were purposely trying to set him up here, all right? And he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? He's referencing Genesis 5th chapter here. And let's go ahead and get that. All right. Genesis 5:2. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam or Adama. So it's not talking about just two people here. All right, you have to understand that also. In the day when they were created. All right. So it wasn't just two people running around butt-ass naked. No, it goes deeper than that. All right. And said, for this cause, verse 5, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore the Most High hath joined together, let not man put asunder. For all you people that think this base man and his laws are the end-all be-all, no. You think that going to the courthouse to get some pieces of paper, that's it. No. Again, it goes deeper, far deeper than that. Again, this is on a spiritual level, right? And that's what you lose track of in this materialistic, carnal kingdom that we're in here. So let's go back to the video.
If you choose to go down a road and be serious with a woman and you don't know who she's bonded with, oh, bro, you playing a game of roll the dice that you really don't want to play.
Yep.
You really don't want to play that, man. So you know, and I'll say it like this: I can speak on this from both ends. Like I can speak on this because just like everybody that's watching this video, you've been in a relationship and you kind of seen some signs or had a relationship be terminated because maybe something has happened. At the same time, a lot of us have been on the end where we were that guy she was bonded to. You know what I'm saying? Like I have some women, you know, that have been in my life, and I'm not saying it's a whole lot of women, but I have some women in my life that right to this day I don't follow on social media. I don't look them up on the gram. I don't have any dealings with them because I understand what will take place if we connect. They may be married, they may be dating, they may be kids in career, the whole shebang. I understand that every time our paths cross, that whatever they have going on, relationship, boyfriend, whatever, it's out the window. It's out the window. Like there have been some women that I've talked to in the past, and it's like, hey, yeah, you know what? I ain't seen you in a while. Let's catch up and yada, yada, yada. Let's meet for coffee. And a coffee date will turn into a 2-day rendezvous in another city or state. You know what I'm saying? And they could have been in relationship. They could have been on the brink of getting even more serious. But once we connect, man, it was like all that's out the window. And it's because of that bond. And it's not even, I'm not even having a conversation of, oh, women move like, because what I'm talking about now is for us to ignore it, is for us to go against the way God created us. Like you have to understand that, and I know we live in this free society and women want to be whatever. You have to understand it's not even normal for women to be jumping from man to man to man to man. Because somewhere in there, she's going to be bonded with somebody. And I'm telling you, if you meet a woman and she's bonded with somebody else, again, bro, she can love you. She can do all of these things. But if that man ever comes back into the window, if he ever comes back within 3 or 4 miles of your city, you have to understand that whatever y'all have, she's going to risk it all. She'll risk it all for that man, even if he isn't talking, hey, let's build something and grow. It doesn't matter, man. It won't matter. Like again, I've entertained women, man, where it's like we might hang out or catch up on the phone and the conversation just takes a turn. But I already knew, like, you know what? I already knew, like, if we ever cross paths, I already know what it's going to be. But I already know how the conversation is going to go. I don't care if there's a wedding ring on the finger or not. So all I'm saying, man, is be aware of who your woman is bonded to. And if you listen to your woman over time, she'll tell you, you know, she'll let you know who she's bonded to. She'll let you know. And again, man, it's not even like she's still craving this guy or still wants to be with this guy she's bonded with. But again, it's a connection inside. She's connected on a sexual, spiritual, whatever level it takes for her boxes to be checked with somebody else, and it's never going away. It's never going away, man. So if you get into these relationships, man, and you don't know who that guy is or it's not you or whatever, you have to understand, man, that you can be a man.
Hold up for a second. Now you know. So again, still dealing with Paul, why he said this. And this is 1 Corinthians, 7. Principles of marriage, right? This is why he said at the very top. Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife hath not power of her own body, but the husband, and likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife. Defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. All right. So yeah, I mean, that's of course you two dealing with each other. But again, why was it said about this adulterous generation? Because that's why he says at the very top, it's good that you not even deal with it, especially if you're in the ministry, because it's going to take up so much of your time. There's going to be issues with her wanting, as brothers have experienced, all right, this specific day, be any other day of the week that's available, but this one specific day, it always comes up. All right. In other words, nothing's good enough. All right. So, but I speak, this verse 6, but I speak this by permission and not of commandment. For I would that all men were even as I myself. But every man hath his proper gift of the Most High, one after this manner, and another after that. I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. All right. And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Most High, let not the wife depart from her husband. But, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband. It means she can't go gallivanting around. If she's going to be apart, she's going to remain single. All right. Let's see. And let not the husband put away his wife. All right. Because you're setting her up when you do that. But to the rest speak I not, the Lord. If any brother hath a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. And the woman which hath an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, else were, your children unclean, but now are they holy. All right. Let's see. Continuing on. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. I was thinking of something else. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I can go into this. Verse 25. Dealing with the unmarried and the widowed. Now concerning virgins I have no commandment of the Most High, yet I give my judgment as one that hath obtained mercy of the Lord to be faithful. I suppose therefore that this is good for the present distress. I say that it is good for a man so to be. Art thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Art thou loosed from a wife? Seek not a wife. All right, so learn to be content. All right. And if thou marry, thou hast not sinned. And if a virgin marry, she hath not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh. But I spare you. So, yeah. That's why he said that. You're going to have trouble in the flesh. And this is way back then. How much more now? Things being more complicated, far more distractions. Especially when you got considering who's ruling over you. But you have to understand this is the same empire being revised or revived, either one. All right, talking about the Roman Empire. We're still under Edom. All right.
Man, that's in. You can be a man that's in a 10-year marriage, 15-year marriage, kids in high school. She can have had a bond with a man she hadn't talked to in 10, 20 years. And if that man comes up in the scenario, if that man's picture goes across her Facebook, you may know them type setup, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And I'm having this conversation not from a place of, brother, leave these women alone. I'm saying, bro, it's just something you need to be aware of. And it's like we'll forget. It's like this. It's like us as men understand this power we have when we're out in the world and we have these connections with these women. It's like it's all to the good. But you forget about it when you get in a relationship. You have to understand, you know what? She's bonded with somebody else. That same connection you got with Rebecca and Janice and like your woman has that same connection with somebody else, bro. And if you aren't aware of that, man, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Prime example. Will Smith, Jada Pinkett. All right, Jada Pinkett and the Tupac thing. Next year to be what, 30 years since he been dead? Come on. What was it his daughter said? About how I can't remember the quote verbatim. But, clearly this woman wished that she was with Tupac. I'm talking about Jada. All right. Prime example. Just with that man because he was able to what? Provide. There's no, as far as I've been able to see and what others have said, there's no connection really between them.
You're setting yourself up for failure, man. But then you got to understand this. There are some women you'll get to or you'll meet, and they're not bonded to anybody. Right? What do you mean, soul? Well, you just said that every woman you meet over 25, 30, give or take, is bonded to somebody. Right? And that's true. But you got to understand that if a woman is in these streets and she's just messing with man after man, jumping from relationship to relationship, letting this dude smash on Tuesday, this dude smash on Thursday, this dude smash on Saturday. You have to understand, man, that at some point, she's going to be so disturbed on the inside, she isn't going to be able to attach to anybody. In other words, she's going to be attached to everybody. And that's when we're talking about, this Medusa energy and all that kind of stuff. And again, I'm not even having a conversation of a woman being a bad woman or a sour woman. I'm not even having that conversation. I'm just strictly talking about the science of what's going on. You have to understand, there are some women, again, there are some women that can make a conscious effort to come in your life and love you, take care of you, cater you. They can make a conscious effort to do that. But you got to understand, man, that these women are just flags in the wind. These women are operating on I would just say, operating out of a full hypergamous state. Once you get to the point where you can't attach to anybody, you're in a full hypergamous state, which, again, a woman like that is in a relationship, but the first man that comes and shows attention, the first man that shows a dollar bill, the first man that pulls up in something shiny, the first man that takes her to a different restaurant, he's getting that attention. And it's not that she desires to be like that. It's just that a woman gets to a certain point where she can't attach to a man. You gotta understand, if a woman can't on a physical, chemical level attach to you, bro, that's the most dangerous situation you can find yourself in. That's a dangerous. And again, I spoke on this some time ago, man. I spoke on this some years ago, back in the Red Pills. I'll see if I think that video is still up. I'm not sure if it's saved or if it's blocked out. I'll leave a link to that video where I was speaking about. This is what I was speaking about. In 2004, there was a study conducted after a strand of male DNA was found in the brain of a woman. Now, scientists had no idea how it got there. But after examining over 120 women, they discovered that when a woman is pregnant with a male child and gives birth to a male child, the part of his DNA remains in her body forever. Now, what baffled the doctors is that women who were included in the study that didn't have male children, or women in the study that had never been pregnant at all, still had this male DNA inside of them. So doctors were pretty much at a loss. It was ultimately discovered, man, that the DNA found in these women's body was from their previous sexual partners. Like this was crossing my mind. It was on my mind heavy for a minute on why I was kind of like researching on why women's mentality would change. Like a lot of women will move a certain way and do a certain thing or have certain character traits. And I was just trying to dig into it, man. And I came across the story of.
That's exactly correct, man. Anytime you talking about being unstable, this is St. John 3:8. It says, "The wind bloweth," and this is Yahweh Shai, but it's, I'm just comparing this to a woman. It also talks about being double-minded in the scriptures, but she has no connection whatsoever. He's right. That's dangerous. This is John 3:8. "The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof." Going back to what I read in Sirach 25:25, right? About giving her not liberty to gad abroad. It says, "But canst not tell whence it cometh, and whither it goeth. So is everyone that is born of the Spirit." All right? But again, she's got this wicked spirit on her. All right? So she's not able to settle down. She's not able to connect. She's as the wind. Wow. Again, these scriptures.
Just trying to dig into it, man. And I came across the story of Medusa, right? And if you look in the story of Medusa, man, it's talking about a woman that was like virtuous and moved a certain way, but she got violated, man, and this man's energy got into hers, and she just kind of changed into something else. And I came across this young lady's video, man. There was this young lady, I can't remember her name or link or anything, but I came across this video, and this young lady was talking about, I think she was saying how she went like so much time abstinent. Either that, no, I don't think she was saying she was a virgin. I think she just went like maybe years and just like, hey, you know what? I was just moving a certain way. And she said, I got with this guy and we connected. And she said things in my body started changing. She said the way I started thinking and everything changed, right? And I made a video on that and I linked her video to my video. And the thing is, back then, you got to understand, man, red pill guys back then, man, man, they went to this girl's video and she had a.
That's the thing, because women are also more, susceptible to being the, the weaker vessel. It's not meant to demean or as an insult. It's just what it is. Why do you think Genesis 3rd chapter went the way it went? You got these demons and fucking with you, and again, this society that we're in now, just there's no accountability, and they even more so under the impression that I can do what the hell I want. No order. Again, no accountability.
They went to this girl's video and just started just dogging her out. My subscribers. And she ended up taking the channel. I'm taking the video off, and I believe she at some point deleted her channel, man. But she was giving so much game. She was just breaking down what was taking place inside of her life, inside of her thoughts, inside of her ability to even be attracted to other men. So you gotta understand, man. Like we talk about this, we talk about sex like it's all to the good, like. And I hate to have the conversation like men and women are different, but you got to understand when your woman has been in a situation and she's been intimate with a number of men, bro, you could, y'all can love, y'all can jump brooms, y'all can do whatever y'all want to.
And that's something, again, on his part. Now, you need to go into why men and women and how men and women are different. That's the whole thing that's been that in their attempt, I think we know who, all right, to blur that line, all right. No, there is a difference, as it was meant to be. Male and female created he, them, duh. All right, I read Genesis 5:2 earlier, all right.
Dude, y'all can have 30 kids, and you got to understand that woman on an energetic level, on a spiritual level, she can't be yours. And I'll be honest, man, a lot of relationships we see nowadays, man, is a lot of times what we're seeing is just a lot of people go through the motion of what we think relationships supposed to be like. We're doing things we think we should do and acting how we think we should act, when really it's all an act. It's all an act, because I'll say this. The desires that a man has for a woman, things he wants to do for a woman, the desires that a woman has that she wants to do for a man and all that, it's natural. It's natural. Like we shouldn't even be having conversations about, a man should protect and provide and be a certain way. When a man has a connection.
Again, everything's been perverted. So you should be having these discussions. That's the whole point. All right. Again, look at the world we live in, where everything's turned upside down. That's in the scriptures also. All right. So Isaiah 29:16. This is who has done this. The people that are ruling over us. All right. They have turned everything upside down. And this is how and why they benefit the most of it. All right. They are the wicked. All right. As long as you have all this confusion and wickedness, well, yeah, they're beneficiaries of this. All right. They don't want things to go back to the right way. All right.
With a woman, a connection with a woman. A man will give his life to protect and provide for a woman. When a woman has a connection with the man, she'll give her life to cater to this man, to make this world easier.
And that's why the apostles, from Elder Apostle Tahar on down, I believe it was Elder Apostle Tahar that made the statement about, you want a woman to be in love with you, not the other way around, because now, well, We're talking about big simping, right? So let's go to First Ezra 4. You know where I'm going. I think it's, let's see. Oh yeah. Should I read? Let's see. Yeah, I'll do it for edification. This is First Ezra 4:33. I need to go a little bit further down, but I read into it. Then the king and the princess look. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, I should have started up. Damn, I didn't know how to go this way. It's talking about which is strongest, right? And ultimately, it is the truth. All right. So what you have here is gathered, and they're debating which is strongest. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out. Should I start at the top? Damn. Maybe I have to go to the next chapter. Hold on. I didn't realize it's been a while since I read this. All right. Wow. Let's see. The three young men. All right, let's see. Then the three men that were of the guard that kept the king's body spake one to another, let every one of us speak a sentence. He that shall overcome, and whose sentence shall seem wiser than the others, unto him shall the king Darius give great gifts and great things in token of victory, as to be clothed in purple, to drink in gold, and to sleep under gold, and a chariot with girdles of gold, and an head tire of fine linen. All right, so here we go. I'm going to skip on down. Let's see. The first wrote, wine is the strongest. The second wrote, the king is the strongest. The third wrote, women are the strongest, but above all things, truth beareth away the victory. And I can stop right there. All right. And in fact, I will for time's sake. And I encourage you to read all of this down through, including the 4th chapter up until around verse 40. But it gives you examples. All right. But for time's sake, I'm just going to cut it short right there. But they were having this little, going back and forth to prove which is the strongest. All right, the king, the wine, the woman, and ultimately it's the truth. And that's what's doing in this this Edomite, these people that are ruling over us. It's the truth, not weapons, not being carnal in any way. Going into 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verses 4 and 5. It's the truth that's doing them in. And this is the way the Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua designed it. All right, because we're not in any condition to go heads up with this with our enemy here. All right, it's the truth. So continuing on.
Man, she'll give her life to cater to this man, to make this world easier. But then we have women getting online saying, well, I ain't doing this stuff for no man. A man need to bring, $500,000 to the table. A man need to be having private jets. Somewhere there's a man that if it don't matter if he's homeless, he's had that bond with your woman. Your woman will be in heaven and earth to cater to that man because she's spiritually bonded. So you gotta understand the strength of what I'm talking about, man. You gotta be aware of who your woman is bonded with. Because again, you might wake up and find yourself in a relationship with a beautiful woman, kind-hearted woman, kind spirit woman. Y'all have kids, man. Y'all build a house. Y'all are raising your kids. Your kids are getting out of school. And it's like, man, we finna run the world. We finna just live our life. And next thing you know, Jody from 8th grade, Jody from college, Junebug and them she met at the club in East Texas back in 94. Crosses her at the mall, crosses her feed. Or just, or you see them out and about. You got to understand, all that you've built over your 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, 6-month relationship, but it's on the brinks. Just because she'll do whatever it takes to get back in that man's life, even if it's for 5 minutes. And again, and I'll say it like this, man, it's more common than you think. Like the woman in your life, a lot of the women in your life are having full flings with another man. And when I say full flings, meaning he's aware of you, she's not trying to leave you, she's not trying to leave the kids, but somebody somewhere can call her up and say, hey, you know what? In 3 weeks, meet me in Vegas. Hey, this evening when you get out of work, meet me down at the coffee shop, meet me at the hotel lobby. That's more common than you think. So a lot of times there are women in your life that they don't want to leave you. They want you to be there the whole time. You're the safe guy. They understand that the guy that they're bonded with, that guy doesn't even want anything with. That guy may even be married himself. You gotta understand, man, that bond is real. And again, I'm not even having a conversation, man, like these women.
And see, that's the problem in that for those of you that don't see nothing wrong with that, you are seriously fucked up. But that's considered the norm. Wow.
Hey, these women, they 304s. I'm talking about the way God made us now, man. You can't fight what God made. You know what I'm saying? Like to not understand what I'm talking about is to not understand what a true union is. I like on the movie and even once I understood this, I saw this in the movie Avatar, the first one. I didn't see the movie Avatar, man, until it was old by the time I saw it. Like it was old. And I remember this scene, man, where him and a girl were talking, they were kind of going out, vibing, picking flowers and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, I mean, I'll leave that for if you want to see the rest of it. It's only like less than 2 minutes left, but yeah, so much covered in that, and it's all, well, I should say it's nothing that we haven't covered. But see, we bring up the scriptures and that's automatic turn off. But you don't take the time to go into the book for yourself. And you know what? For that very reason, because you want to be with the in crowd, so to speak, a lot of you going to come up short. All right, this is very personal. This is you, all right, repenting and getting back in the good graces of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, not anybody else. All right, and for that, I'm going to end on this because what your barren samadhis don't teach you could be the very thing. Well, it will be the very thing that, all right, keeps you from realizing, from obtaining your own salvation, as this scripture is going to tell you. This is Philippians 2:12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence. Because you got a lot of them, especially in them churches. All right, they very good on that Sunday. All right, it says, work out your own salvation. And here are the keys: with fear and trembling, which they don't teach you about fearing the Most High. All right, they just sell you on that. Well, if he called on the name of Jebus, JC, hey, again, this is for you. And as the scripture says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And how many scriptures on that about fear being the why is this thing not responding? All right, fear being what? The beginning of wisdom. All right. So, what can I say? But with that, I'm gonna end it here. Yeah, you gotta understand who your woman is bound to. All right. So you can't just be a simp. You can't afford, I should say, you can't afford to be a simp. Now more than ever. So with that, hey, until the next video, hey, shalom.